That's some other bad thing too. Is some supposedly they always try to tie like The Shining and Kubrick with some other conspiracy. We've heard about the moon landing one. You know, Kubrick was hired by NASA to film something that looked like people on the moon and traveling in space and things like that. Um, I think the test run was 2001: A Space Odyssey. It was it was like NASA wanted a kind of a reel. Hey, let's see what you could do. Make a movie about space, and we'll hire you for the job. The fucked up thing is that movie came out in what, 68. They'd already been doing Apollo missions for years before that, and Mercury missions back in the earlier 60s. So I don't know what, there's always something that discounts it. There are people that just believe it 100%. Kubrick filmed it, and they fucking gave him something, and I don't know. And they paw through his movies now, trying to see his confession of this whole thing. So The Shining obviously came out after the moon landings. So they looked at The Shining for all of these hints, like young Danny wearing the Apollo 11 shirt, a sweater, and like other shit. I don't know. A lot of it is this. What was it called? It was called Shining. It's kind of new, but also Clockwork Orange. Clockwork Shining. That's what it's called. Stupid fuck name. A Clockwork Shining. And, Clockwork Orange, the logo for it on the movie poster is a pyramid with an eye. And it's like, oh, okay. So he's part of the what? The Fed, the Federal Reserve Bank. And I don't know. People love tying all this shit together. But I don't know. I don't believe that aspect of it. I think Kubrick is just was a very good director, very talented, and had a lot of symbolism in his movies, which, in hindsight, you can interpret something to be what you need it to be. It's very hard to look at something and then say, oh, this must symbolize, I could see that this is going to become this. Like make a movie before the moon landings about how you're faking the moon landings, and then have someone watch and go, oh, I see what this symbolism means. You're going to fake the moon landing. And then the moon landings happen. Then you could say it. But afterwards, you could just go, oh, that's what it meant. Yeah, well, you just know that because you're kind of working backwards. So, he had a lot of symbolism in his movies. But as far as the moon landing goes and stuff, I don't think. I have to have, for all the faith I've lost in our government and some of our institutions that we had held near and dear to us over the course of our lives as Americans, I still got to hold on to that moon landing. I still would find it very hard to believe that it didn't happen. It would have to be, again, a conspiracy of such a huge level. So the amount of people needed. Our most hated enemies in other countries during the Cold War, they weren't going to fess and say it was fake. Would have been the easiest thing for Russia to do. We were in a space race. We were battling it out with Russia. Who would reach the moon first? And when we did, wouldn't it be easy for Russia to go, oh, really? It's all fake. Let me show you how it's fake. But they were like, hey, congrats. You won. You did it. This is for good for all mankind, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. There's just more that points to we did go than we didn't go. 9/11, that's a different story. I was a true believer back years ago that everything that the government said and these commissions had said about 9/11 was absolutely true. And then you had your real far conspiracy guys that it's not even a plane, it's a missile. The people got off in Ohio, and then another remote control plane went like that stuff. I can't get with that. That's insane. But the other stuff, the government knowing the intention and what was going to happen, uh, getting rid of evidence, a good way to get rid of evidence. I've looked more into the Building 7 phenomenon than I used to, and do find it a little odd. You know, the Trade Center towers, you got a little bit of plausible deniability there. Hey, the structure was damaged, and we watched it come down in that way, that right where the breach was. And, other people have argued different things about it, but there's an explanation, reasonable explanations when you watch the towers come down from both sides. Why didn't the top portion crumble as fast as the portions it was destroying coming down? Why was the top piece so special that it was able to destroy the whole thing? Why didn't what it was hitting destroy part of the top section? And that's interesting. That's an interesting concept. But then you could also go with, well, the metal was weakened, the breach, it starts falling right at the breach. So both sides have pretty viable stories that at least they're not like, oh, come on, ridiculous. Building 7 was like, we saw one angle pretty much that didn't show the base of Building 7. It does come down in one solid piece. And, again, why? The towers, we know, 2 planes hit them. We saw that. 2 planes hit it. What structural damage was done to Building 7 that made that come down? It wasn't hit by planes. It might have been hit by debris from the Trade Center towers, but again, it just, questions. There were questions. So while I cling to the moon landing, that it did happen, and there is visual proof. I mean, you can see with telescopes these days the actual equipment that went to the moon and was used by the astronauts. So that's pretty hard to dispel. Anyway, I don't know how I got into the conspiracy thing. Ooh, which only means I'm going to get 80 fucking people. Oh, dude, you got to watch this. You got to watch this one. This one you will totally know that it was fake and the Earth is flat. And I can't go through all that. Can do it, won't do it.